Enroll your child for the Manifested e-learning platform and see their grades grow tremendously. These videos can be downloaded to a laptop for offline viewing or viewed from a smartphone in a course-friendly format.
Hey learners, I hope you're keeping safe and at the same time you've also finished attempting all the assignments that I've been giving in the series of lessons that we have already done. In this particular lesson, I want to talk about something that is very controversial and something that most people do not actually understand. Even when you look at the discussions that we have on social media, or actually the posts that people write out on social media, you'll understand that most people do not actually understand this section. Today, we'll be talking about demonstratives. I'd like for you to listen keenly, as if you listen keenly to this lesson, you'll be able to correct the many mistakes that people are actually making outside there, and you'll make a difference. People will understand that at least you've gone through school and you have understood all those things that have seemed difficult for a big part of our population. Welcome to Manifested Online Classes. I'm Mercy Mboya. In the previous lesson, we'd actually talked about pronouns. We talked about pronouns in the subjective case and the pronouns in the objective case. I hope everything was clear on that lesson. I'll not go back to that. I'm going to go straight to our today's lesson. We will be talking about demonstratives. Demonstratives are words that are actually used to show us how far or how close something is to the speaker. I can start by writing that definition. Are used to show how close or distant something is to the speaker. We only have 4 demonstratives in the English language. I'm going to list them out. So we only have 4. Demonstratives. So they include, so we've said we only have 4. This is supposed to be 4. Let me just write it out again clearly. 4 demonstratives. They include, I'm going to list them out so that we can discuss through them. The first one, we have this, and then we have these, then we have that, and then we have those. Those are the 4 demonstratives that we have in English. However, most people tend to confuse between these 2 demonstratives, as people feel like their pronunciation is actually closely related. So when somebody pronounces this and this, it is hard for you to actually be able to tell the difference, because most people are not even able to tell the difference even in the uses. So therefore, these 2, this and this, are actually used when you want to talk about something that is closer to you, and then these 2 are used when you're pointing out something that is a bit further away from you. Then these 2, this one and this one, are used with singular subjects. So these ones are actually in singular, and then this one and this one are actually in plural. Then I want to take you back to the pronunciation so that we move on to the other part. For you, the right pronunciation for this is actually it's transcribed as it's transcribed as this, meaning that this I, the vowel I here, is actually a short vowel. And then this S is actually pronounced the same way you'll pronounce the S for a word like see. So this. And then for the other one, which is this is actually how it is transcribed. You know, this sign represents the word the, this sound, the. And then this the is actually a long vowel, I. Therefore, this one becomes, this is a long vowel. And then when you talked about, there are two sounds that you talked about in Form 2. Yes, the sound Z and the sound S. You say that there's a difference between those two sounds. And we also mentioned that if a consonant, the consonant S, comes in between two vowel sounds, then that sound ceases to be the sound S and actually becomes the sound Z. Therefore, this sound here, the last sound here is actually Z, as in when you say zebra. Therefore, as you pronounce these, the vowel here should be long, and then the last sound here is not S, it's actually Z, unlike for this. I hope you get the difference. Then also, as you pronounce this, because this vowel is short, you do not need to prolong. You do not need to prolong it. Remember, you only prolong when you have long vowel sounds. Therefore, this becomes this, and then this one becomes these. There's that Z sound at the end. Of course, I've explained why. Because of the S is in between two vowel sounds. Therefore, it actually forms this vowel. And then this E here actually forms a long vowel I. I've also said that there's also a difference. You can note this one down so that you can learn how to use these two and learn the difference between the two sounds. I've said this one this is only used when you're talking about subjects in singular. And these two are used when you're talking about things that are closer to you. I'm going to show a small demonstration here. So with me here, I have a glass. So I'm going to, if I were to construct a sentence to tell you what I'm holding, I will tell you this is a glass because it is very close to me. But then if the glass is not closer to me and it's that far and I'm actually pointing it out for you, I'm going to say that is a glass because it is not closer, it's not close. Look at the proximity of distance. So you use this is a glass. If you're holding it, it's close to you. If it goes far, it becomes that is a glass. If there were to be two of them, if I'm holding two glasses like this, I'm going to show you and tell you that these are glasses. And then if they are far away from me like that, I'm going to say those, pointing at them, those are glasses. I hope you understand the difference between those two demonstratives. That this, if it's one, this is a glass, that is a glass, if it's far. If it's close, if there are two and they are closer to me, I'm going to say these are glasses. And then if they are far from me, I'm going to say those are glasses. I hope that is clear for you so that you can be able to correct the people that are always making mistakes in the usage of these demonstratives. Having said that, I'll just note down for you the ones that are used in plural and the ones that are used in singular so that you can take down those notes. So you can write the demonstratives this and that are used when talking about subjects in singular, while these and those are used when talking about subjects in plural. That's the first difference between those. I'm going to underline the keywords for you. So these ones, they are used with subjects that are actually in the plural, or to replace subjects that are actually in plural, and then are used with subjects that are in singular. Another difference, of course, is with the distance. Remember, we have said the responsibility or the main use of demonstratives is to show the distance between between the object that is being spoken about and the speaker. We have said that when you use these two, this and these, you are actually talking about subjects or about things that are closer to you. Remember, you are the speaker. And then when you use that and those, it's like if you're pointing out somebody from a crowd, you're going to say, that is my friend. But if it's a group of your friends and they are really far away from you, probably if you call them out, they cannot even hear you. You will point to them and say, those are my friends. But if your friends were actually close, like for example, you're talking to one of your friends and then another one comes and you actually have to introduce the two of them because they don't know each other, you're going to introduce this one and say that this is so and so because they are actually close to you. And then even a third person comes and you have to introduce these other two friends to that third person, you're going to tell that third person that these are my friends. I want you to get the difference between the usage of those four demonstrative pronouns. I'm just going to write it out for you here so that you can see that this and these are used when referring to things that are close to you or to things that are close to the speaker, while that and those are used when referring or speaking about to things that are far from the speaker. Learning these differences, these two differences, that this and that are used when talking, there's something that I forgot here, supposed to be when talking about subjects or things. You can actually use when you're talking about subjects or when you're talking about things that are actually close. If you learn these two, the difference between these two the four demonstrative pronouns is going to be easier for you to understand. Therefore, it is very important for you to understand first the differences in pronunciation between those two words, and also demonstratives, and also the difference in usage, because there's a difference in the way that you use those two. We've said this one is used with when talking about things, something that is far away from the speaker, that is close to the speaker, but in singular, used with singular subjects or singular verbs. This one is also used when you're talking about something that is close to you, but that is more than one. And I've shown a demonstration using the glasses. I hope that one was clear. The demonstratives, the reason why I'm not labeling them as being demonstrative pronouns or demonstrative determiners is because those are their two uses. They are used differently, of course, depending on the nature of the sentence. In the next lesson, we will talk about the uses of the demonstratives. Now, I'll just recap what we have actually just said regarding demonstratives. Remember, we have said that they are used to show how close or distant something is to the speaker, and the speaker is always the person. If you're the one that is pointing out your friends, those are my friends, or that is my friend, or this is my friend, or these are my friends, you become the speaker of that in that sentence. And then I've given you the four demonstratives that we have. We have talked about this, we've talked about these, we've talked about that, and we've talked about those. I've also pointed out the differences in usage, that some can be used in plural and others can actually be used in singular. And then I've also pointed out that some are used when something is really close to you, and the others are actually used when something is far from you. Do a lot of practice even in your speech so that you may be able to get the difference between the four demonstratives. I'm going to give you an assignment so that you can continue doing practice. I'll write it out for you here so you can start copying out. You can work on that assignment. Then, of course, I'll give more work after we talk about the uses of the demonstratives. I'll just read out the instructions so that you make sure you've written out the correct thing. Complete the sentences with an appropriate demonstrative pronoun. Note that some dashes will take more than one word. Sentence number 1, dash are the freedom fighters I admire for their bravery. So this is not there. So it should read, dash are the freedom fighters I admire for their bravery. Then number 2, is dash new? Number 3, where has dash come from? Number 4, have dash been signed? Then number 5, for your birthday present, I bought you dash. Be very keen as you do that assignment. Remember what I'm always reminding you regarding capitalization, where you know that when starting a sentence, it started using a capital letter, and then you know the other words that you're allowed to start with using a capital letter, as much as they may not come or they may not appear at the beginning of a sentence. I wish you all the best. Continue doing practice. Do not get tired of doing practice. This is something that will help you even in your later life. I wish you all the best. Goodbye until next time.
Thank you for choosing to study with us. For more information, you can call us on 0724 173845.